So after the South African experience, you moved back to Europe to extend your coaching tenure.
Yeah, great opportunity after that to spend 3 months in the north of Spain, from August through to the end of October, and connected up with a team that I'd played for there a number of years ago, and they'd made their way up to the top grade in Spain, and for the first time in their history, and they've done really well. And so I just went over and spent pre-season and 6 weeks of the competition with them, and again another superb experience, particularly for the family, for me to regenerate those friendships and contacts. But the kids went to school there, and my wife starts learning another language, and it's a completely different culture. It was brilliant.
So when it came time to go back to New Zealand, was that embraced by you and the family?
Yeah, it was always the plan for Spain was just a 3-month time slot, come back, and the kids would finish the year at school in New Zealand and look for another coaching opportunity for me. Yeah.
And one came up.
One came up, so saw the job advertised, talked to a few people, threw my hat in the ring, and thrilled and to be lucky enough to get this spot.
What do you think convinced the powers that be to give you the job? What are you bringing to the table that you think might have excited them?
Well, I guess all those experiences that we just talked about, they're all experiences that get examined in an interview process. I guess there was an angle of that. I've been a solicitor, partner in a law firm in Christchurch, Cavell Leach Law, which helps generate other skills and things that perhaps they were looking for. But I guess it's just you just work through the process and see where that goes.
Let's look about how you're going to form your management team. I know that's been well announced. For someone new to town, new to the people, how do you go about that task?
Yeah, we've advertised, and applications have been coming in. I'll go through those applications and we'll then start to talk to people and form an interview list and work a proper process for that.
Okay, and how long before do you think you'll form that team?
Yeah, we're a bit flexible on that, so to get the right people as long as it takes, but I'd quite like to get that sorted sooner rather than later, so I wouldn't like to put a time frame on it, but yeah, by the end of February I'd hope to have a pretty good idea that where we're at with that.
Let's talk about the players. They're quite important in your team. You've got to start watching some club rugby, no doubt. Are you starting from scratch? Did you watch Southland play much last year?
I've watched a little bit since getting the job, so a little bit of footage. The information that I'm gaining on people was really about asking a lot of questions, listening a lot, and it's a great thing about a place like Southland is that the supporters and the people involved in rugby are very, very passionate and care, and so there's some very good opinions, and it doesn't matter whether there's differing opinions or not, that's always going to be the case. So it's great to get a grounding on that from people that really care about the team and the province. We're working with a wider group now. They've started their conditioning and some skill work, and so we'll just start to work through that and have a good look at people and how they operate, how they're training, what are they doing off the park, all those good things that you look for in people.
And you've got a base of players that have signed, a beginning of a squad, haven't you, and some experience among them? Yeah.
Well, we've got a really good nucleus of people that have been signed, and it's left enough gap for the incoming coach, who happens to be me, to put a mark on that as well now, with the spaces that are available, and to have a good look at the type of game we want to play, and whether that can be played by the people that are available for the squad here and now, and then work through it from there.
Can we expect a major change in style or approach from what you've seen in the past?
Yeah, well, I think it's too early to say yet. All that stuff's got to be worked through with the coaching group. I don't think it's for me to talk about that right now, because I'm just not in an informed position yet really about, with respect to the players and things. I certainly have my ideas about how I'd like the game to be played, but the basics won't change. You know, your set piece has got to be rock solid. You want a dominant forward pack, people who don't give up, and play on the right parts of the field and things like that. And I think that all those characteristics will be characteristics that are well known here, and well liked.
What about your coaching philosophy or style? Let's call it Colin style. We're going to bang the table and swear, or are we going to just mop people's brow? What's your approach there?
Oh, I think there won't be too much of banging the table, but look, if a message needs to be delivered, it's got to be delivered, so you would be straight up. And sometimes I might be the person that's the right person to deliver it, or one of the other coaching team might be better positioned to deliver whatever the message is. I think my style is let's set the standards early, and then we agree that that's how we're going to operate. So if we think that there's something happening that's not above the line, so to speak, we just point to what we agreed, and ultimately it should become self-governing.
Quite a bit, we hear man management these days with professional coaching jobs and players having to be perhaps, I wouldn't say mollycoddled, but you have to work with them very closely. Is that something that you're good at?
I think that doesn't change. You're dealing with people. Now, whether that's a rugby environment or in a factory or in a professional office or in a school, I think that just changes the widget that you're trying to produce. But ultimately, you're talking about people. So sometimes people need a cuddle, and other times they need a stick. And sometimes some people need a bit of both.
That's right.
So I'm very comfortable with that being a very important factor. I think if you're really rigid in your approach, then you're going to miss quite a lot of your playing group.
Let's talk about your age. You're quite young in the scheme of things. I suppose the advantage is that it's not that long ago since you were actually actively playing on the scene. That must help.
Yeah, I don't know. I was getting told I'm young. I don't know.
By comparison.
Approaching 40. I suppose that makes me old enough to coach, too old to play. I think it's just age is just a number. I mean, I think the more important thing is what have you been doing, and what have you learnt while you've been doing it. So the age is something arbitrary. It's what's the experience and then ability to pass that on.
All right, let's talk about your family. Tell us about them and how they obviously haven't been here long, but how they're looking forward to living down here.
Everyone's really excited. So wife Anna and I drove down on Sunday, and then the container arrived Monday. So
were the kids in it?
The kids weren't in the container, but I think they would have liked to have been. I think we would have liked them to have been at stages, but they then flew down with grandparents on Wednesday. So by that stage, Anna had the house sorted, and they're really, really excited. Kids saw their school yesterday, and one of the boy who's 6 said he was desperate to start school there and then, so he's got to wait till Monday. But
okay,
yeah.
So that's a relief, isn't it, when you know your family's settled in, concentrate on your job.
Yeah. Well, they've been really adaptable, and the amount of travel we've done in the last 18 months, it doesn't seem like a massive shift. We're still on the same island. We can drive to see grandparents, they can drive to see us. Airport's there. It's a bit different than shifting across to likes of Port Elizabeth, but we just really keen to get amongst it. But a community that cares about its teams, its province. It's not just a rugby thing. I've been blown away by the facilities here. We trained on Monday night in the indoor stadium, which is I understand is nearing time for opening. I took a wrong turn and ended up in the velodrome, and it's just awe-inspiring. So, yeah, I think it's just getting to know people and building relationships there. That's a massive part of this first month or two.